What I've heard on the road, though, talking to the men,
to the general, yeah.
Most men see marriage as for the woman, not necessarily for them.
And now for our featured presentation.
Alright guys, welcome to another conversation with Elise. If you look above my head, I'm going over there. It's New Start 93 FM. Big up to my good friend and sister June, Sister Thompson. Yeah, she gave me the hookup, so I'll be participating in a panel discussion regarding the men's perspective on marriage. And so come along for the journey. This is Conversation with Elise. Yeah, spreading his wings and yeah, sharing the journey, Alright, come along guys. So yeah, New Start 93 FM, right beside the offices of Placement and Services Careers, alongside Office of Graduate Studies and Research. Yeah, so here we are, heading into the studios of New Start 93 FM. Alright, so let's see what happens here.
Sorry about that. What's bad girl Chevy? Jump over back on the live.
Jump back over the live.
Jamaican Beauty, jump back over on Fantastic. People.
And some answers came in as guys. So you know the happiness song play and copyright thing dropping.
But the worst thing about we play the original song.
I never kick it off.
I never kick, but apparently didn't have the thing on the raps.
I had seen reactions.
In Jamaica, next question. In Jamaica.
Yes, we're all
during
there.
which month is Teachers' Day celebrated? Alright, I see an answer.
I see an answer. Bad girl Chevy said May. Carter said May. Sammy Joe said May.
What's the whole of the goat them are run out? What is score now?
Bad girl Chevy
stepping
at
up.
2 points. Sammy Joe at 3. Riatzia at 1.
Alright, next question. Let's see if we can get through another one. Which part of the human body do we find the femur bone? People, I'm telling you, I'm looking for the answers. Watch them, watch it. My head, my shoulder, my knees, my toes. I see you.
Sammy Joe said a leg. The only answer we've gotten so far. Everybody else step one.
People, we're coming down to the last minute of the show, of the segment, I should say.
Sammy Joe in lead either way. But Sammy Joe is the only one to answer this one so far. Bad girl Chevy said thigh bone.
Alright, bad girl Chevy puts a point on the board. Somebody over here on the live, Carter Shakespeare, just dropped thigh.
Sammy Joe is a type. No, it's because the leg you consider.
What kind of leg you have? When you got a doctor say your leg hurt me, where doctor got to go? You not touch your thigh, I can guarantee you that.
Fair enough.
Alright, so here we go people, final question, who can win? Who can win?
There's a tie.
Complete the Jamaican proverb, no mug, no broke. Alright, Carter Shakespeare with the answer here. No coffee, no dash.
So we have Sammy Joe at 3 points and we have Chevy at 3 points. So you need a tiebreaker for Sammy Joe and Chevy.
Alright, we're going to go to the break, but I'm going to give you the tiebreaker right about now. Right about now, the tiebreaker is here. This is for...
I felt some type of way. I was like, some men no want married too? Are they only marrying us because women want marriage? So on that note, we came with the topic, the male perspective on marriage. And then who better to get this from than some lovely gentlemen in here, right? So if it is that you're on the live, you should be able to see two other faces in here outside the oars. All right, gonna let them introduce themselves. So we're gonna start with the gentleman on my right. You can do first name basis, it's fine.
Right.
Yeah, so you can go ahead.
All right, even everyone, the name is Cornell Lee. I'm a Christian by first and foremost, follower of Christ. I'm married for 20, this year going to make 22 years. And I am 44 next week to do maths.
Okay. Well, you want to make it know him history, same as show the same know him thing.
You see, he has to do this.
I like it though.
He has to do this because I'm guessing she's listening, right?
Yes, she is.
Yeah. So he wants to go home to a peaceful home and make him know. So I did the math.
Touche.
Get the dates right.
Put all the
Yeah.
No, for us, but the dates.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Not that.
Let's take the information he's willing to give us. All right? We don't want.
I got married on December 23rd.
Okay.
Year 2000.
He's smart, you know. He's smart because December 23rd is a date that you remember because right before Christmas Eve. And before Christmas Eve. Very smart man. Very smart man. Not only did he marry young and still married, but he's also smart, all right?
And we have two children. My wife's name is Michelle, and my daughter is Jordan, the elder of the two, and Michael is my son.
You know, so I get a big plate of food later, right?
Bad girl Chevy say, well, I know how long he married. You know the date of the wedding, but if they have problem, remember age.
No, I left that for you, for all the students in the class.
Yeah, man, I understand, man.
No, but
so them stay.
Guess what? Certain things become more important
That's
as time goes by. My age is no longer.
He's not going to be upset about his age.
It's the anniversary.
Somebody's going to be upset about the dates. Yeah.
So thank you so much. All right, so now we have a second gentleman in studio. Can you say good evening and introduce yourself?
All right, good evening, Joshua Bell.
Hold on. All right, go ahead.
All right, good evening, Joshua Bell. My intro isn't as profound. I'm not married as yet, hope to be. Pretty sure I want more than 2 kids, but Christian as well. And yeah, just happy to be here.
Okay, I love it.
And might I just say thanks to June Thompson for the
for the reference. Trust me, because I go to somebody, I'm gonna say, yo, I need someone who's married for a show. You know, I want different perspectives. She's like, I know the right person. Like she never itch before me even explain the rest of the reason. She said, I'm going to ask him no before we even don't talk to her. She'll go WhatsApp him. So thank you so much for that. Yes. All right, so guys, let's get into it. As we said, it's the male perspective on marriage, right? Bad girl Chevy said, boy, in voice.
Yeah, John voice me if I try to turn up something by the speaker. I tell you, a lone bass.
Lone bass, right? All right, so guys, let's get into the first question. They've actually answered my first question. My first one was, first and foremost, are you married? So one person said, you know, yes, he is. Cornell said yes. And then John said, not yet, but I hope to be. Yeah. Right? And then remember that we're putting Mr. Fresh Concept on the panel, so this question goes for you as well.
All right.
Are you married, sir?
No, the last time I checked, you see the relationship.
When last I checked first,
the relationship I was building what their teeth is cement, right? So, so not married. Haven't been married at all. But as them say, you know, it's on the to-do list somewhere.
So you hope so, okay.
Yeah, you need a partner to get married, so it's not a one-person thing. So, you know?
Okay, yeah. And then Cornell answered the second question. If yes, how long have you been married? 22 years ago. Come this year or next year? December coming. 22 years. Guy, that's a feat. Especially in this day and age, that is an achievement. So congrats.
Well, a feet are 5 toes. I'm several feet.
You know that. I understand why the cement missing. I understand why it is missing.
I'll be over here. Sorry guys.
And then I was gonna ask, you know, to John and Lionel, do you intend to get married
yes,
someday?
Yes. It's on there.
Yes, for both of you guys. All right, so let's start with you, Cornell.
Yes.
For the second question, what were some of your reasons for getting married?
All right, first and foremost, initially, I mean, I just got saved. It's just all about the Lord. But eventually, you know, I saw somebody. When I saw her, you know, I thought she looked nice and thing. When I got to know her now, I realized that she was what I was looking for. So I wanted to get married because, for one, I fell in love with her. I saw her and I fell in love with her. I also knew that I wanted to have a partner that I can have fun with. I also, for ministry wise, I'd want to have somebody by my side, going
in that journey with you.
The same journey with me. And of course, I wanted to have children.
Oh. Okay, I think those are some guys, you see the reason them? We never have this on the list last week. These were some excellent reasons to want to get married. Things we need to think about, all right? All right. So, number 3. As the topic states, we are seeking the male perspective on marriage, right? So, what is your personal opinion on marriage? And then I'm going to ask you, what do you think is the general male perspective? And why I separated it? Because your perspective may not be the majority, right? So I want to know your perspective on marriage, if you think, okay, it's something that should be done, or it's important, or whatever it is. And then after that, you can say, well, based on the men around you or conversations you've had, or society as we know it, this is what you know men perspective to be. All right? So we can start with Joshua this time.
Okay. All right. Well...
So your perspective first.
Yeah, my perspective, coincidentally, has also been influenced by the men in my life, friends and so. And it's not complicated. I think people complicate what marriage should be. It's a union of two people that put each other first.
Definitely.
Right?
I love that. Hold on, what slow it down? Slow it down. Repeat that. It need to connect. It need to connect.
Josh, you go like say him go like a little
school before him come. I ain't come here well prepared. Him the teacher. All right, so hold on. We have to put we have to actually repeat that. So you said a marriage is a union of two people who put each other first.
Bam.
I love that. That's the shortest yet profound explanation ever.
Marriage at the surface isn't a complex thing.
Okay.
So here, guys, you hear it. Marriage is not that complex. Let's stop overthink it. All right, so we're going to Cornell. Cornell, I'd like your feedback. So your perspective on marriage, and then overall what you think the general male perspective is on marriage.
My perspective is based on scripture. I got saved at 15 years old, and growing up in the church and reading the scriptures for yourself, you understand this was established by God, and it is a foundation basically for any society. And of course, He established it between a man and a woman, and from that perspective, everything else morphs. Yes. If a male and female doesn't come together, there is no expansion of the human race. You understand me? And so, I believe also that it's, as my brother said, it's a one honoring the other, and the scripture speaks to that if you must think of the other person as yourself. Now, if you love yourself, you're not going to want to hurt yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you love her, your wife,
you're not going to hurt her.
You're not going to want to hurt her. No, teeth and tongue are going to meet.
Yeah, it's expected. It's not a perfect world.
It's not a perfect world. However, as my wife and I would normally do whenever we have disagreements, is a post-mortem. We sit and we talk it over and we look at what happened. I am more detailed like a surgeon. She'll just pass the tools and I
and you dissect and say, all right, this is the problem.
Yeah.
Let's fix that.
Yeah. and she gives her feedback. And that's another thing I think needs to be maintained in marriage. Everybody has a voice. Not because you're the male, you're the dominant figure. You're gonna enslave somebody to love you or gonna enslave somebody to stay with you? No. Love is free. Love is something that should be given willingly. And once it is given willingly, it will be reciprocated. And as my brother said again, it's not complicated. What I've heard on the road though, talking to the men.
To the general,
most men see marriage as for the woman, not necessarily for them, especially if the woman is in church and the man is not is a sinner.
Yeah, or out to the church,
even though just married her because she don't want to have a feel like she'll commit sin rarely. So he would marry her. And again, I hear out there that most of the time when the man want to get married, they eventually get married to somebody is because he want to hold this one. This are the chosen one among the others.
It's the number one right here.
Exactly. but at the same time, they appreciate, they tend to appreciate the wife or the woman at home, notwithstanding them still have whatever.
Yeah, have them other options, but wife a fair rule.
Wife has her space, and for most of them say, oh, nobody can come with my wife. But I think it's kind of oxymoron because
you start bringing people against your wife.
The mat's not
yeah. But I think that's the general view out there that is really and truly for the woman. And there's one more thing that I hear them say is like there's a certain level of stability, and I think most of the young men are coming to the realization that, and I don't want to call up this, but they come to the realization that stability is important.
Yeah.
And to have more than one children all over the place, whatever, if you get a $10, you have to spread it all over the place.
True.
For those who are going to maintain and take care of them children. So them come to them conscious of them, I said, no, ma'am,
you can't, it's all over the place.
No, you know, in fact, my father told me this too. And my father, God bless his soul, he had about 22 children.
Hold on, 22 years of marriage and 22 children.
In fact, well, my siblings say it was 24, but he says no, it's about 22.
So the siblings said 24,
so it's still a child. It's still a
two up for grabs. All right.
But it was with different women.
Yeah.
And he said to me, had he been wiser, no, had he been wiser then than he was when he spoke to me, then he would have been a millionaire, because he has wasted a lot of money. And this thing where he had his children spread all over the place, in fact, he made every attempt to bring all of them together before he died. I think he barely succeeded because all of us did come together.
Yeah.
Tell you one quick story. I hope my sisters listen. Hope she not. I went by my father's house, my father's workplace once, and I saw this beautiful damsel across the road. I was like, wow, she looks nice. Lo and behold, I then went back into the office. I went outside, I came out of the office. The secretary said, have you met your sister? I was like, no. And she called over the same young lady.
The same one where you said was wow. Problems.
Your sister, I don't know.
Problems.
That's how it was.
Yeah.
And I've listened, even before I got married, I listened to the elders, and they would say, it don't make no sense, youth. Just
the second one person.
Yeah, have one person. If a $10, the $10 stay in your house and give the kids.
Makes sense. I like it. And that's really what I'm getting as a general male perspective, you know, when he was wiser. So I wanted to ask, when growing up as young boys or young men, what were you taught or told about marriage by your parents? So I know you started on that. Any other tips that you learned regarding marriage? I want to know really if this influences how you think now.
The truth is, I grew up with my stepfather and my mom, not with my dad. I wish it was the case, but he was in my life. So most of the influence that came regarding marriage was in church. My mother, but she would just guide me as best as she can. But most of what I learned and that influenced my thinking came from church, being in church.
So you basically got guidance from early, leading you towards that thought process already.
Right.
All right.
So that would have been, let's say, you had, for example, like role models then in church, probably a pastor and pastor wife or deacon. You saw them, you know, living what you think a good marriage would be.
Right. There were models that I saw, and there were some that I saw that I would not model.
That you want
okay, all right.
Fair.
Okay.
I like how you just, drop that right there.
You know, remember, you're learning here, so you have to.
And it's facts. Yeah. It's the truth he's talking.
Because, and I rejoice that because sometimes, I'm not going to talk about that.
Yeah.
Sometimes in church, the husband or the wife tends to stay doing church work in the name of the Lord.
Take up too much of the
affecting the marriage.
And the wife is at home, In fact, I've had one of my pastors we had a seminar, and his wife said she began to hate church people.
Because he was dedicated his time.
Her husband would be called
always busy, yeah.
And she's like, don't they have a conscience?
Yeah.
And because I'm the pastor, I'm going to answer.
I'm going to answer everybody, no matter what time.
I set the rule in my house, nobody calls me after 10.
Okay. So no matter who.
No,
and I like that.
The mother.
You don't know, say, Mama.
Save himself right there.
You know, mother will give it a line that I bring you in this world and I can take you out.
Trust me.
But yeah.
All right, I like that. All right, and then for you, Joshua, what was the advice I know you said from a broken home you weren't very inspired for marriage. So is it that you didn't really get much guidance or advice on it?
Till after, probably later on.
Alright, so my dad lived with us until we're young, like 9, 10. So I was able to see a marriage.
That piece, yeah.
You know, mom and dad. I was able to see challenges. I was able to see happy times. I was able to see various. But when things began to go downhill, and you know, we got older, speaking to my dad, one away, mom one away, and then you know, just maturing overall. One of the more profound lessons I learned, you know, in an unspoken class, and it was marriage is work. Yeah. No, yes, you want to be in a marriage where you feel comfortable and relaxed, and you can, you know, you don't have to try. You don't feel like you have to try to win the person's love
every day. Yeah.
Fair. There's a place for that, but marriage is work, meaning it's selfless. You know, just a example. You can't be at home all day and your partner is out working, and then they come home and have to cook, clean, and all that, right? Because if that was the other way around, you wouldn't want that. You know, so it's work. You know, marriage is a living, breathing thing. You know, you have to invest in it. You know, you have to you have to be selfless.
I just really wanted that question specifically because I wanted to know if it is that most of these guys out there who thinking it's for the woman, or it's just because you want somebody to cook, clean, whatever, is because they grew up seeing that they still think that way.
All right, I think, all right, it's right now from what I've observed. It's it's gonna be just like life. It's gonna be like two parts of life out there. You have your little inner desire. Cause there are people out there, probably some of the more serious galleys, or whatever you want to call it.
One second down.
They say okay, they have their dream or plan is to, you know, get married one day, settle down with their wife. You know, even though they possibly might not be able to have one woman based on the experience that they've been having, but it's a part of their dream. But then, you know, you have society out there
telling you something else.
Like, girl, this boy, but they are settle down, you turn one burner.
Really, one girl you gotta stick to.
Right, and they get so caught up in the hype. Because I mean, that's part of that's part of why persons don't get married as well. People get married for the hype. You know, some girl be like, yes, she get married. Ask her if she
can't wear a ring. She just want the ring for can show.
Right? And then the same thing now on the other end, some people are not getting married for the hype because they want to say, yo, but no one about some lockdown. Love to be. We have got 15 years strong, me not give her no bun. But me not married her because me not locked down in case she want, you know? So these situations do happen. So we're faced with our inner decision, and we also faced with what we think
the external
people will say.
Yeah. All right. So guys, you're still in the segment that we call Taught the Thing with Kim. And we're talking about the male perspective on marriage. So we have in studio with us Cornell and Joshua, and I tell you, they might drop some gems. Like, gentlemen, represent. I think like we need for some seminar after this. Bookings available soon. We're gonna put some details out there and have some things to learn. All right. So we're moving to a different question, and this one was just like a bonus question specifically for Cornell because he has also experience in it, right? So 22 years married by December. So I want to know, what are some things that you have learned about marriage since being married?
All right, couple of things. I mean, hold it, but I'll go slow. I've learned that it's going to take sincerity in oneself and complete honesty with each other. With my wife, with Michelle, she's more reserved than I am. But you go and brush off on one another. You go and rub off on one another. And what I think that has rubbed off on her is that she's now more outspoken. Yeah. Yes. So coming together, you're going to take things from each other. You eventually go and look like each other.
I've always heard that. So eventually you start resemble.
I've also learned that you're gonna have to bounce on each other's strength. Sometimes she's up and I have to be, or when I'm down. Sometimes when I'm up, she's, you know, or when I'm up, she's down. Yeah. So I have to help out each other. The person who I saw at the very first outset in terms of physique and everything, you know, body figure going to change. But the thing that makes me appreciate and love her is really and truly who she is. She's a genuine soul, and you know, the only thing I'd love for her to do more. Shall you hear me?
Hey,
Sure, shall listen.
right now, our 4 ears them the
No, me never say. Listen, she said the cricket them quiet. TV lock up, phone the on silent. Nothing can interpret now. Shush, nothing now, pass
This is
her.
it right here now.
All right.
It's just that she would just express herself more.
Boss
Express
man,
herself more.
you are in the line with 75% of the men out there. What are we there?
You understand?
I just said that to our sister over there.
Yeah.
If you could just please
Express yourself more.
use your words a little bit more. Just a little bit more.
Ladies,
and
take
it's, and it's weird, because they'll use the words in every
Oh,
other
gosh.
situation.
Uh-huh.
But when it relates to a little bit of emotion
Something a bit sensitive or
as you say, a bit
vulnerability.
yeah, you have to try and
You
figure
have
it
to
out.
dry it out.
You have to
Pull
try
teeth.
unlock the puzzle. But yeah.
Yeah.
Ladies, take notes. I'm learning too.
Yeah, that should just express herself, open and express herself, because I would like to have open kind of discussions, and when that happens, then we get to hear what each other is thinking, and so. Though she's coming from a far away, because she was
Yeah, because you said she was reserved and now she's more outspoken.
Right. But even then, in terms of just telling me, sometimes she'll be down and she don't tell me to figure it out. That's the other thing I don't understand.
I
figure it out.
tell you, sir. Listen, me. You are with the
22
group.
years,
No, but that's all right. You see,
still-
that's the thing. But you see, right now you're saying that at some point she was a bit more reserved, and she's
And she know,
she's
you
kind
know,
of meet a bit halfway.
But she
So-
still have some work, which all of us have some work.
So basically, right now I think you have an idea of what she's feeling. So she didn't even need to cut gear no further, sir. You have an idea.
We must figure it out, as him said.
I just want the ladies to know that, you see, if you have a gentleman like Cornell here, you have a husband in your life, or a potential husband
But
in your
they
life.
are 22 years,
Ladies,
man.
I want you ladies to know that we are on your side.
Yes.
So sharing, how you feel, and so we are on your side. It's not
a
going to
good
be
thing.
something, right. It's not going to be something that we're going to hold against you. We're on your side. So, yeah.
I don't know if I should even support this. Carter Shakespeare said,
This bad.
if it's working for 22 years,
Sir.
reserve. Try to keep
So
quiet.
try to keep quiet.
Keep quiet. Make it stare.
I tell you,
Don't
that's what I'm
change
saying.
nothing.
That's what I'm
It'll
saying.
make it to 22
She's got a
years.
little shifted, I just said, to move closer.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Yeah, that's going to work with her, man. I mean,
No.
probably one day you might not even realize you start
When I
learn
say go out there, I don't have an option.
telepathic
You
skills.
have an option. I like
But
that.
no, it's not, that's not even the problem, man.
Yeah.
At some point you can realize you start develop telepathic skills and you
You
start to read her
understand.
mind. Cause
And our body language and all that. Yes, I know we women are known for this.
time does that
And
to
the truth is, there are some things that I will know off the bat just by her approach.
There you go.
Or she
See?
turn.
Yeah, man, you'll get there,
I know that.
Yeah.
And
Some things you still wish you
yeah,
just say.
right.
Cause we are man, we head look at tough fish too, but and we like the confirmation.
Yeah, and it's like just do it 1, 2, 3. Simple.
we like it. But even though we have an idea, say your head might hurt you, but
Tell we say it hurt you.
when we say yeah, all right, just say at the headache. Yeah,
Yeah.
headache. Yeah.
Fair enough.
One last thing, and I also learned that my brother, what's his name again?
Joshua, yeah.
Joshua said that men and women have similarities. That is true, but I also understand that we are different, and the way we perceive and do things will be different. Because I, for one, I would normally be insistent on some stuff, and it has caused me pain. Not because she's wicked or whatever, but in my mind,
Like you're seeing it as something simple that why you
Right.
don't just do this,
and
right?
I realized I had to push back. I had to just
Yeah.
Yeah,
relax.
chill. Let's relax. Yeah.
Because and when I chilled, I realized I got to see her perspective, and I was able to say, "Oh, okay, all right, this is
You
the way
have
to
a
do it."
point, I'm
So
gonna get it.
You're gonna figure out the formula.
So you
man.
have
Yeah,
to
man.
you have to be willing to adjust, because along the years, adjustment will have to come, and you have to find a way to adjust because you love.
So along the years, you have to find a way to adjust. Adjustment will come, guys. So don't expect, say, as I said, the fairy tale, the movies show how they just get up together, get ready for work, and you
Well, I
have,
think-
bye, honey, have a
I
good
think that's an
day.
important message too.
Yeah.
I love
Adjustment,
it. The
because
adjustment.
There are some things in your partner that will never change.
Right.
So if you're going to be in contention because of it forever, then that's an unhappy man.
And
You have
then-
to learn that there are things about you that aren't perfect either. Yes, you
Exactly.
prefer certain ways, but there are other ways.
But like what you said, there are some things that will never change, and there's also some things that will change, and that's, I think, another part of the problem. People expect that
is important.
People expect that the same person I married 20 years ago should be the same person today, and that's why most of them are like, oh, you're used to this and you're used to that, to do that. So we don't give any space for change. And as such, you're not the person I knew. Because you never changed with me, or you never learned. Bear in mind, not all changes are good, but we can go through it together. If we realize something, we can reason and say, well, baby, I really like how you started this, or we used to communicate more. Let's get back there. Change is going to happen, but because most people are so steadfast on who this person is, when the changes come, it's like, who are you?
As Carty said, put the adjust in caps.
And Sammy Joe said liquor in terms of liquor tough.
That's what Sammy. I was wondering what Sammy Joe was.
No, I see it earlier.
Sammy Joe see me after class.
So, the next question. Now we're coming up. We'll have the final 3 questions. Wrapping up shortly. Why do you think there is such a high divorce rate in the 21st century? Anybody can start first.
All right, I think for one, persons are not getting married for the right reason.
Check last week's video.
Yeah.
Hint.
That's
continue.
Also, people are not being honest with each other.
Yes.
From the get-go. And I might have a YouTube channel, Conversation with the Lees. Check it out. Conversation with the Lees.
With the Lees.
With the Lees.
With the Lees, yeah.
Check it out.
But no worry, we're gonna have them back in. I have a plan. I have a plan. We need the male and female perspective on the marriage. So no worry.
I've encouraged young people, especially in church, because sometimes the focus is, all right, I get saved in a church while sing in the choir, do whatever. Time to get married. All right, maybe you want to do it that way. However, do not waste your time with somebody if you're not going to be honest and open with them. Because if you see the person, he can play the drums very well.
Check off the on the checklist, right?
But and then you put up this facade, and then when you actually dating, you're not being honest and truthful about some stuff, and it's after you're married you realize it come out, and that's when people like run away from you. Because
and the thing is, the real person going to always come out, and people they need to understand you can only keep up a front for so long. It's going to come out one day, so you might as well be yourself, make them accept you. Either them are going to accept you or not. If it doesn't, then there are other, as I said, there's fish in the sea. I'm sure you have any to add, as in the high divorce rate that's going on.
Well, he had some very profound points. I think it's also unclear expectations.
Right.
So if you grow up in a broken home and someone comes to you, person comes to you, want to get married, get a relationship, but if your perspective on marriage and relationship has been skewed, your own expectations is going to be skewed. Broken don't make whole, So the unclear expectations is definitely one. The other one is, I believe, especially contemporary society on a global scale, it's all about pleasure. Everything is pleasure. There was even said that the whole psyche behind, like, for example, TikTok videos, why it's so addictive, you get just a few seconds of pleasure and then you move on. So it's a constant. But the reality with marriage, and I'm sure you know from 20 years, you're going to have times where you don't feel like bells and whistles. You wake up and your partner probably sick, or the house messy. If you have kids, just noise, don't sleep, toilet clogged, stove not,
Pleasure. I read up my entire life.
I read out your life.
The pretty face and the fancy dresses are chaka head top and
at home.
Right.
But you see, that is the thing though, because that is what allows for love to be presented. Because even biblically speaking, we know He loved us because while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. So love is sacrificial as well. But the sad thing is usually after people take that step, then they start to find out.
They start to see.
I don't really love this person. I was just attracted, or they were just better in comparison to my
somebody else.
So. But you said all the things, people aren't taking time to know people as well.
Hold on. Repeat that one day. I've been waiting on it.
I have it right over here on my list right here. What go on?
Repeat the one day, sir.
People not taking time to know each other.
Not only that, they're not even taking time to know themselves.
Amen. Oh, you're a preacher. You're part of the sermon. All right.
Yeah, but you see, that's the reality. I mean, I'm doing and thinking things now that last year or the year before I wouldn't have predicted. You know, and I believe it or not, a huge part of that is because of my partner. You know, and that's the beauty. When you have somebody, they should compliment you.
Exactly. Right. Exactly.
Toxicity is real, and sadly, some people can fake it. You know, fake healthy and so for a long time, because it's not hard to fake a checkbox. You know, you can cook every day. You know, you can clean, you can send text every day, but when the hard times come,
well, what are you gonna do?
You know, so it's only fair that you know who you are and you know who your partner is. So communication, you can be communication.
And the truth is, you're not going to know everything at the get-go. But it's important to just get the fundamentals out of the way.
There are some things you have to know.
What are your future goals? Who are you as an individual? What you know, what your dislikes. You don't because you want her to like you ignore that something is annoying to you or whatever. You know, so be honest, and if she can fix it, she can. If you can live with it, then you make a decision. But don't pretend.
All right, watch me mash up the whole place now, Kim. You know, we do these things regularly on a Friday, 5 to 8 p.m. during Talk the Thing with Kim. Here we go. You see a lot of persons, especially when the love is basically fresh and new and bubbly, you know, in the early stages, a lot of persons fall in love with potential. So we don't necessarily like the person who they are right now, you know. We like them because we think by next year, them I got this, them I got that.
So we see them future.
And we're going to be happily ever after.
It look bright,
Right? So you get into the marriage saying, you know, 1 year in the marriage, we're going to reach there because we're going to live together now and all these things together now, because that was what was holding us back. But it's the same person you're going to get. The same person before the marriage is basically the same person. You're gonna actually realize that that there's no change here. There's no potential that I saw coming through that I was looking for. So if you're really and truly not feeling the person before the wedding, 90% chance, 99% chance you're not gonna be feeling them after the wedding.
But I like that you pointed that out, because that's something my mom actually gave me advice on. She said a lot of people fall in love with potential, but she said you need to understand a lot of people die with their potential and never fulfill it.
No, a lot of, especially ladies, they like people. To say, this man are gonna be this,
sister, you can do this. And then sometimes we want it more than them. So we see the greatness in the man, and then we say, yo, we're gonna get them there. But then guess what? We start mad because we say, but why am I push you harder than you will push yourself?
Let me show you. The ladies will see it from a point. I would guess that, you know, probably them say, all right, him aggressive now. Him not communicate with me, but because him at this, I'm gonna soon, just as soon as him get the promotion, him gonna have time for me and all them something. The guys know, they're like, well, you know, she not doing these things and she not care for me, but it's true, you know, me not sure say me love her. So as soon as me married her, she can realize me one,
they usually
and she
think
treat
that
me like a husband. But sir, I mean, a lot of ladies say that them not give man husband treatment before, but if you can't give the man little signs of what treatment will be like before marriage, a little bit of for say, boy, you know, you're looking out for the guy, or if the man not get a little treatment for say, okay, this is what I'll be doing when when we get married, this is the kind of support I'll be giving you. As them say, you're buying a treatment that you not get yet.
Well, I like that advice there. And also on the live here, Carter Shakespeare did say earlier, Dolly out the road can't work at home. And then Sammy Joe said, Mommy is right. I don't date potential anymore. Already did my community service. So she done with her community service. It's time to, you know, put some effort into things of value. All right, so the last two questions I'm going to merge because read the same thing. What advice do you have for men and women out there who may or may not want to get married? And then also, as men who want to get married and a man who is married, what advice you have for women when they're choosing a life partner? We know it's very wide, but just anything you think that's important.
No problem. When you're looking for a partner, don't just look for tall, dark, and handsome.
Ladies, in the ear, the one there?
Ladies, I'm tired of all y'all calling me and asking me for other people's number. Cause I'm not all that.
So
you're the guy standing beside the next.
He's the one beside the tongue, like, you know, can't get your friend.
So somebody out there sending hearts for this one. Oh, jeez. Like, apparently they like somebody tall, dark, and handsome. I don't know. So,
ladies, it's not all about the tall, dark, and handsome. The shorter men too, the brown, the white, the different culture, whatever it is that you're into, it's okay. Can go ahead.
Yeah. So it's not just a tall, dark, and handsome. Look for somebody who, you know, is willing to communicate well and who's willing to be open. I know some guys, you know, tend not to want to express themselves and whatever, But the truth of the matter is this: communication is one of the biggest builder or destructor of marriages. You understand me? So if at the goal you not find out that there's a level of communication flow, is something to look at, because you can't just say, okay, he's the taller and handsome, but he doesn't communicate, but he's taller and handsome.
Look good.
Right. No, but
I'll be vexed myself look funny, man.
Colonel, hear them, the Colonel. Watch how I go to change him. And that the woman them over there say, no, when I done with him going to communicate.
Yes, ladies, we never stop it.
Another biblical reference, where it says, beauty is fading, and flattery is deceptive.
Right.
Yeah, so you can't look at temporary features in expectation for a permanent position. So it really is important that you get to meet them.
And of course, I mean, I'm a Christian, so even from a godly perspective, make sure the man know God and love him, because from a Christian standpoint, there are going to be challenges in a marriage that is going to take that man who knows God to deal with certain situation. As Mr. Tita and Tonga go meet, but the man who knows God will temper himself. Will be able to even if in the midst of anger, he'll still temper himself, knowing that, listen, if I dishonor this woman that God has given to me, and I'm dishonoring God, right? So make sure him know God, and it is imperative that you as a woman spend time to build yourself as best as you can. If whatever the man brings to the table, even if you're not bringing the same amount, but you bring something to the table.
Exactly.
Not one-sided.
Not one-sided, because when you find that there's too much dependency, you don't. If the person is on the other hand is not God-centered, they can manipulate and hold you at ransom.
Hold it over your head, which I've heard several women in that scenario.
So. And oftentimes in church, most of the time people go off because him can sing, or him can play the guitar, or him can preach well.
I'm for about 10 chair at church.
Yes.
Come here, so that's another way, guys,
Right?
He's helpful.
Right? You have to look, and again, yes, you may not get the guy at his full peak, at the whole package, but there are some basic criteria,
some core values
that you have to make sure is there. They must love God. They must at least I've spoken to men, to brothers. You can't look for get married and don't have a job, bro. You can't look for get married put certain things in place. Before I got married, my brother said, listen, make sure you have your bed, your dresser. Even if she has those stuff, at least put some things in place. That at least if push comes to shove, you have something that you can use until such time.
I like that.
Okay,
I like that. That's a whole heap of perspective. But trust me, more information to come on that, because we will have you back for sure. And Joshua, what's your advice to men and women that may or may not want to get married? Because you were once the one that didn't want to get married, but no, you're a whole changed person, sir. So what's your advice?
Because of his partner.
Because of his partner, the inspiration.
Shout out to Shady. Alright, well, the truth is, I was never interested in marriage until I met my current partner. So the person himself has a huge role, how they influence you. Yeah, because the reality is, we can even talk about the topic of Samson. Men have a weakness by default to women. That's just how it is.
Yes.
That's why scripture even say to young men, do not give your strength to women. You understand? You may sound away to women, but the reality is we have a weakness.
Nice woman.
But my advice is simple. If you're not interested in getting married, there should be no pressure to get married. Right? Because no one is going to be in that marriage with you as a male or as a female to carry out your duties. Live your life, better yourself, do what you're called to do and whatever it is. If you have a passion to get married, and if you have that calling, inkling, you believe you met someone, then do your due diligence, counseling, seek yourself, better yourself, open lines of communication. Because the reality is, whether you're married or you're not, life going to be challenging. And you don't have to be married to be happy.
No.
I know too many married people that are unhappy.
Yep.
And I know a lot of single people that are living life. All right. So I think it's really just find your calling. And the reality is, sometimes your calling has to do with someone else. You know, God ordained marriage. Marriage is God ordained. So there's nothing wrong with marriage. But the same way, not everybody should be married. Not everybody should be a teacher. Not everybody should be a pilot. We have different anointings.
We have different rules and purposes.
The danger is when people are in a situation where others try to feel like, okay, you're at a certain age,
you have to do this. You have to do this and you have to do that.
There's a checklist, especially from the previous generations and so, you know.
They start compare. By your age, I was this. I had 4 kids by your age.
Exactly. Even though back then, you know,
things and time different.
Completely different.
And that doesn't mean they were happy about it either.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the point. True. So you have to know what your calling is. So my thing is, know what your calling is, know what your passion is. Because sometimes that's how God communicates with us through our passions. You know, you never chose your passion. You know, this is something that's instilled in us.
Yeah.
So that's my thing.
I like this topic.
Sometimes who God said, you know, like
I've heard that many times.
That's the thing, though.
But and then you know the worst thing about that, really and truly, as Joshua said, at the end of the day, no rush yourself. Because even if you say, boy, God sent somebody for you, you'll find the time. If you take the time, you'll find your way there. You get me? So if you like somebody, you don't have to get married in 6 months or a year. You know, there's no set time frame.
And there's too many times I've heard women were turned on men who God said I never like, and years after, boy, them wish them
some
did.
people find each other. Some
find each other, or some after the fact wish they did.
Things work out in time.
But that's a whole other topic, guys. That
because
is
there's a proverb that says, what fear can't unfear.
Exactly.
So I
like that.
Just wait.
Yeah.
So guys, that is it for Talk the Thing with Kim. Listen, this segment is usually supposed to be 30 minutes, guys, but I know every week gonna love the topic them, and it always goes into basically the whole hour. So we have to thank Joshua and Cornell and Lionel, don't think we forget you.
Oh,
but no, but for real, you guys came and dropped some gems. I love the answers that y'all had, and I don't think you guys could remember everything they spoke on. So I'd actually recommend when the recording drop, I'm gonna go watch it, because they dropped a lot of information, a lot of good advice.
And as Carter said, ladies, don't try to change men. Bellevue still open, but it's full. Alright.
And then also Sammy Joe said earlier that don't need advice. Not everybody wants to be married, and that's okay. So that's the thing, we're not forcing people to do it, you know, but don't do it because of somebody else. If you want it, then go on that journey. If not, stay on your journey.
And then guys, listen me, advice don't mean say you have to do it in people. So
just advice.
Always be open to learn. So even if you don't want to marry somebody, you
can give advice to somebody else.
That's fine. You can listen.
Exactly.
You have your idea already. So that's why we even get into relationships. And true, we know what we want, what we don't want. We don't want to listen to nothing. And we miss out on so many
and
other
somebody
things.
might change your mind, like Mr. Joshua here, and they're going to say, oh yeah, the advice, what it got. I'm going to listen to it now. So trust me, it's not for everybody, but guys, know what it is that you want and pursue that.
All right.